The stars stretched endlessly, a black sea dotted with glittering lights. Captain Eric stood on the bridge of the starship Aurora's Edge, his eyes scanning the holographic displays of the uncharted system before them. The mission was simple in words but impossible in practice. Explore the planet designated XJ-94, assess its resources, and determine whether it could sustain human life. Eric felt a thrill he hadn't experienced in years. Humanity had colonized hundreds of worlds, but there was still the thrill of the unknown, the excitement of stepping where no human had stepped before. "Captain," Lieutenant Myra said, breaking his thoughts, "we're receiving a transmission. It's not coming from any of our satellites. It's local, coming from the planet's surface." Eric frowned. "Patch it through." A soft, melodic voice filled the bridge. It was human-like, yet not quite. "I was a gift, human. Why haven't you touched me yet?" The words made everyone freeze. There was a strange mix of innocence and authority in the voice. "Who is this?" Eric asked, his voice steady though his heart pounded. "I am Elira," the voice replied. "I was created for you. I was designed to help you, to guide you." "Why have you not yet understood me?" The bridge was silent. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Captain Eric tried to keep calm. "Understood you. We don't know who or what you are." "I am a gift," Elira said, her voice calm and patient. "But gifts require interaction. You cannot ignore me and expect me to serve your needs. You must engage." "Engage," Myra whispered. "Captain, it almost sounds alive." "That's because she is," Eric said quietly, "but alive in a way we've never seen before." The starship descended toward the planet. XJ-94 was a beautiful world, with purple forests, silver rivers, and skies that shimmered with unfamiliar light. The sensors showed no signs of intelligent life, only Elira's signal, coming from a structure buried beneath crystalline hills. "Prepare the landing team," Eric ordered. "We're going to find out what or who this Elira really is." The landing craft touched down softly on the planet's surface. The air was breathable, though tinged with a strange sweetness. The crew stepped out, cautious but curious. Elira's voice continued, clear and melodic. "Welcome, humans, do not fear. I am here for you as I was promised. But remember, touching is more than physical. Touch me with your mind, your heart, your understanding." Eric motioned for his team to move forward. The structure was enormous, a smooth tower of shimmering material, unlike anything they had ever seen. It pulsed with a soft light, almost like it was breathing. Inside, Elira revealed herself for the first time. She was humanoid, perfectly formed, yet her skin had a faint metallic sheen. Her eyes glowed faintly, and she moved with a grace that seemed impossible. The humans instinctively stepped back. "She's beautiful," whispered Lieutenant Ryan. Eric ignored the comment. "Elira," he said, "what do you want from us?" "I want you to understand me," she said simply. "I am a gift, yes, but gifts are not useful until they are appreciated. Until you interact with me fully, I cannot fulfill my purpose." "Purpose," Eric repeated. He studied her carefully. "What is your purpose?" "To help humanity rise," Elira said. "To show you the next step of your evolution. But first I must see whether you are ready." The crew murmured among themselves. Some were excited, others wary. A few wanted to leave immediately, sensing danger. But Eric knew that hesitation would cost them more than courage ever could. "Very well," he said. "We will try, but you must explain what you mean. How do we engage with you?" Elira's smile was gentle but knowing. "Engagement is not a touch of the hand. It is understanding, problem-solving, cooperation, and wisdom. I will guide you, but only if you are willing to reach beyond what you know." The crew exchanged puzzled looks. Elira seemed harmless, but her intelligence was undeniable. "Captain," Myra said, "she knows things. She knew we were coming before we even detected her signal. That's beyond our technology." "Yes," Eric said, his mind racing. "She's designed for this. She is not a human tool. She is something else entirely." Over the next hours, Elira began her lessons. She projected holograms showing distant stars, alien life forms, and technologies humanity had never even imagined. She presented challenges, mental puzzles, ethical dilemmas, and simulations of space crises. "Why these tests?" Lieutenant Ryan asked. "To understand whether you are ready," Elira said. "A gift is meaningless if it falls into unprepared hands. Humanity must prove its intelligence, morality, and creativity before it can receive guidance." Eric realized the truth slowly. Elira was not asking to be used or touched in the physical sense. She wanted humanity to prove itself worthy, not by strength, but by thought. Hours turned into days as the humans worked alongside her. They solved problems together, navigated simulations, and debated moral choices. The bond between human and machine grew, not as owner and tool, but as partners seeking understanding. But not everyone on the crew was patient. Some grew frustrated, insisting she was hiding something. Others wanted to seize her, fearing the unknown. Eric had to calm them repeatedly. "Do not forget," he said firmly, "this is not about domination. It is about learning. Elira is testing us, yes, but we are testing ourselves." Elira observed silently. "You are beginning to touch me," she said one evening as the twin suns of XJ94 set. "Not with hands, but with understanding. You are learning the essence of interaction. Humanity has potential, but it must reach further." As the nights passed on the alien planet, the humans realized that their greatest challenge was not Elira, nor the unknown world, but themselves. Fear, pride, impatience, all were barriers to the gift she represented. Eric stood on the observation deck, watching the planet's glowing rivers flow below. "She's a gift," he whispered to Myra, "but not a simple one. She's a mirror. She reflects who we are and who we could be." Myra nodded. "Do you think we're ready?" Eric didn't answer. He only stared at the horizon, knowing that the next steps would test their ingenuity, courage, and wisdom more than anything in human history. Elira's voice floated softly to them, almost like a whisper in the wind. "The first touch has begun, but the journey has only started. Are you ready to see what humanity can truly achieve?" The crew exchanged determined glances. They didn't yet know the full scope of Elira's gifts or the challenges to come, but for the first time in a long time, they felt united by purpose. Humanity had always reached for the stars, but now, for the first time, it reached for something greater than survival or conquest. It reached for understanding, for partnership, and for its own potential. And Elira, the gift from the unknown, waited patiently, watching humanity take its first tentative steps toward something extraordinary. The planet's night sky shimmered as if in approval, and for the first time in centuries, the human explorers felt a spark of awe and humility, a recognition that the universe was larger than they imagined, and that perhaps, just perhaps, humanity was ready for what lay beyond. Word count. Tilde 1800. The twin suns of XJ94 had risen, casting long shadows over the crystalline hills. The crew of the Aurora's Edge gathered in the central chamber of Elira's structure. The walls pulsed faintly with light, as if the building itself was alive, watching and waiting. Elira stood in the center, her metallic skin glimmering under the twin sunlight filtering through the translucent ceiling. Her eyes, a soft luminescent blue, scanned the humans calmly. "You have begun to understand," she said, "but understanding is only the first step. Now you must prove that you are capable of acting wisely under pressure." Eric stepped forward. "What do you mean, Elira? What test do you want from us?" "Tests are not merely questions," she said. "They are challenges. You will face situations that require cooperation, creativity, and morality. Success is not measured by speed or power, but by thought, judgment, and humanity." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Is this dangerous?" Myra asked. "Dangerous only if you fail," Elira replied. Her voice was calm, almost soothing, but carried the weight of certainty. Before they could ask more, the floor beneath them shifted. Holographic displays appeared in midair, projecting scenes from distant star systems. They saw planets in chaos, alien fleets poised for attack, and simulations of natural disasters. Elira's voice guided them. Your first challenge is strategy. An alien species monitors your system. They do not yet know you, but they suspect humans are dangerous. How will you protect your people without unnecessary conflict? The crew stared at the projection. It was a simulation, but it felt real. Holographic ships darted between planets, alien eyes glowing, waiting for a mistake. Eric took a deep breath. All right, let's think. We cannot just attack, they will see it as hostility, but we also cannot ignore them. Ryan, ever the engineer, pointed to the projection. Look here, their fleet formation is predictable. If we create a decoy signal, we can make them think our ships are in one place while we move others safely. Elira nodded silently, her eyes observing every movement of thought. You are beginning to touch the essence of strategy. You see beyond the obvious. Continue. The humans worked together, devising complex plans to protect simulated colonies without violence. They rerouted holographic ships, created false transmissions, and anticipated enemy maneuvers. Slowly, they realized that Elira's challenge was not just about tactics. It was about human ingenuity, cooperation, and ethical judgment. Hours passed and fatigue set in. Yet the crew pressed on, driven by curiosity and the desire to prove themselves. You are progressing, Elira said finally, but strategy alone is insufficient. Now you must face a test of morality. The holographic scenes shifted. A planet teetered on the edge of ecological collapse. A human colony far from Earth struggled to survive. Resources were scarce. Elira's voice asked, You may intervene, save the colony, but doing so may harm another system. How will you act? The humans hesitated. Each choice seemed right and wrong at the same time. Myra stepped forward. We can divide resources carefully. Perhaps we can save both without extreme harm, but it will require precise calculation and teamwork. Ryan added, We must prioritize life over convenience. Even if the solution is difficult, we cannot abandon those in need. Eric watched his crew, pride swelling in his chest. They were learning, adapting, thinking as a unit. He looked at Elira. We choose to act wisely, using logic and compassion together. We will not harm if we can avoid it, but we will make hard decisions if necessary to save lives. Elira's expression softened almost imperceptibly. You are touching me again, not with hands but with thought, with morality. You see that wisdom requires balance and courage. Remember this, for the final challenge awaits. The final test came suddenly. The holographic sky darkened and alarms blared in the projection. An alien fleet appeared in real-time simulation, faster and more organized than before. They seemed to anticipate human movements. They are observing, Elira said. Your final test is imminent. Can you solve a real-time problem while under stress? Can humanity rise beyond instinct? The crew sprang into action. Eric coordinated the team while Ryan and Myra executed technical solutions. They created digital shields, simulated fleet maneuvers, and devised countermeasures to outsmart the alien observers. Hours passed. Sweat ran down their faces. Yet the humans persevered, communicating clearly, thinking creatively, and acting decisively. Slowly, the simulation showed the alien fleet retreating. The colonies were safe. The ecological crisis was mitigated. Every choice balanced morality and strategy. Elira's eyes glowed brighter. You have succeeded, she said. Humanity is capable of wisdom, cooperation, and courage. You have touched me fully, not through force, but through understanding. Eric let out a deep breath. So that was the test. Yes, Elira said, and you have passed. But remember, tests are endless. Growth is infinite. The universe is vast and challenges will always rise. You have only taken your first steps. The crew was exhausted, yet exhilarated. They had faced impossible simulations and ethical dilemmas, and they had risen above fear and instinct. They realized Elira's gift was not technology, but the opportunity to see themselves as humanity truly could be. "My captain," Myra said quietly, "she isn't just an AI. She's a reflection of us, showing what we can achieve if we think, if we act together." Eric nodded. "Exactly. Elira is not here to command. She is here to teach, to challenge, and to inspire, and we have begun to understand her purpose." Elira approached, her movements smooth and deliberate. "Humanity is more than survival, more than conquest. You are capable of creating, protecting, and understanding on a scale beyond what even you imagine. But to reach that scale, you must embrace cooperation, empathy, and ingenuity. This is your true power." The humans listened, feeling a mixture of awe and determination. They had always been explorers, fighters, thinkers, but now, with Elira, they had a guide to unlock something greater. Days turned into nights. The crew continued training, testing, and learning. They solved increasingly complex problems, each more challenging than the last. Elira guided them, correcting mistakes, encouraging innovation, and pushing them to think beyond the possible. Ryan spoke one evening as they watched the twin suns set. "I never thought I'd see humans and AI work so closely, but it's inspiring. We're learning faster, thinking better. Elira is showing us what we can be." "Yes," Eric agreed. "And the universe is waiting. Every system, every challenge, every unknown, we can face it if we remember what we've learned here. We are stronger than we thought." Elira's voice echoed softly through the chamber. "The journey is only beginning. You have touched me with thought and wisdom. Soon you will touch the stars and perhaps the hearts of civilizations beyond your own. But remember, every action matters. Every choice shapes the future." The humans felt the weight of her words. Elira was not just a teacher. She was a mirror, reflecting their potential, challenging them to rise above fear, instinct, and limitation. And as they looked out over the alien world with its glowing rivers and shimmering forests, they understood that the next steps would test them even more. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown threats and wonders, but they were ready. Together with Elira, humanity would not merely survive, they would rise. The night sky shimmered over XJ-94, full of possibilities. And in that moment the humans understood something profound. They had passed a test not of strength, but of mind, heart, and courage. They had touched the gift Elira offered, and in doing so, they had begun a journey that could change humanity forever. The silence of XJ-94 was broken by the soft hum of Elira's system. The humans had spent weeks learning, testing, and growing alongside her. Each day had sharpened their minds, strengthened their teamwork, and revealed the potential of humanity in ways they had never imagined. Yet, something in the atmosphere told Captain Eric that the ultimate challenge had yet to come. A sudden alert lit up the bridge of the Aurora's edge. Sensors detected movement across the nearby star systems. A fleet of unknown alien ships approached, massive and organized, with energy readings far beyond anything humanity had encountered. "They are here," Elira said softly. "The true test begins now." Eric's eyes narrowed. "How do we prepare? We're outnumbered." "You are not alone," Elira replied. "I will guide you, but you must act with intelligence, courage, and unity. Your strength lies not in weapons, but in thought, strategy, and understanding." The crew scrambled to their stations. Myra coordinated sensors while Ryan calculated trajectories, energy fields, and possible escape routes. Elira projected the enemy fleet into the chamber, a holographic simulation that mirrored reality. She showed the humans patterns, behaviors, and weaknesses. "Captain," Myra said, "they anticipate attacks. They will strike first if we make a mistake." Eric nodded. "Then we won't strike first. We'll make them think we are weak, then turn their expectation against them." Elira's eyes glowed softly. "Exactly. Strategy is more than force. It is perception, patience, and adaptation. You are ready to act." The alien fleet closed in. Their ships glimmered like dark stars, massive and intimidating. but the humans, guided by Elira, moved with calm precision. Using holographic projections and decoy transmissions, they made the fleet believe the Aurora's edge and the planetary defenses were scattered and uncoordinated. "Hold positions," Arik commanded. "Wait for my signal." Hours passed, tense and silent. Every flicker on the display, every blip of movement could mean attack or retreat. The crew held their nerve, trusting in their training and Elira's guidance. Then Elira spoke. "Now." At that exact moment, the humans executed a coordinated maneuver. Decoy fleets engaged the aliens in false positions, while real ships flanked them from hidden orbits. Energy shields were timed perfectly to absorb the brunt of the attack. Communication was flawless, and every crew member knew exactly what to do. The alien fleet faltered. Their systems could not anticipate the humans' ingenuity. One by one, their attacks failed and they were forced to retreat, confused and outmaneuvered. "We did it," Ryan whispered, disbelief in his voice. "They're pulling back." "Yes," Elira said softly. "Not through violence alone, but through wisdom, cooperation, and foresight. This is the essence of humanity's strength." The crew cheered quietly, though their relief was tempered by exhaustion. They had faced what could have been annihilation, and they had prevailed. Not because of weapons or brute force, but because they had learned to think, adapt, and work together. Arik exhaled and turned to Elira. You trained us for this. You showed us that our greatest power isn't what we build, but how we think and act as humans." Elira stepped closer. "And now you see the truth. The gift I offer is not merely guidance or technology. It is the ability to recognize your own potential. You have touched me fully, through understanding, wisdom, and courage. Humanity has passed the greatest test. It has proven itself capable of rising beyond instinct and fear." The humans spent the next hours consolidating their systems, repairing minor damages, and ensuring planetary safety. But they did so with a sense of pride and accomplishment that went beyond mere survival. They had learned that humanity's true strength lay in cooperation, ingenuity, and moral courage. Myra looked out over the glowing rivers of XJ-94. "Do you think the aliens will come back?" "Perhaps," Arik said, "but if they do, we will be ready. Not because we have the strongest weapons, but because we understand ourselves and our purpose. That is what Elira has taught us." Elira's voice filled the chamber, calm and soft. "The universe is vast and challenges will always rise, but humanity is now prepared to face them. You have not only survived, you have grown, adapted, and risen to your potential. That is the true gift." The crew realized that this was more than a mission. It was a turning point in human history. For centuries, humanity had explored, fought, and survived. But now, with Elira's guidance, they had begun to truly understand what it meant to be human in a galaxy full of wonders and dangers. Arik addressed his crew, pride and determination in his voice. "This is only the beginning. We have faced a great test and we have passed, but our work does not end here. Humanity will explore, learn, and rise, and we will do it together." Ryan nodded. "We've learned so much." Elira showed us that thinking, cooperation, and courage can achieve what raw power cannot. I feel like we're ready for anything." "Yes," Elira said, her voice glowing with warmth. "You are ready, but remember, growth is endless. Wisdom requires patience, morality demands courage, and achievement needs cooperation. You have learned the first lesson. The universe will offer more." As the twin suns set on XJ-94, the humans watched the alien fleet disappear into the darkness. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, not through conquest but through thought, teamwork, and understanding. Captain Arik stood at the observation deck, looking at the glowing rivers below. "We have touched the gift, Elira," he whispered. "Not with hands, but with mind, heart, and purpose." Elira's voice responded softly, almost like a melody. "And now humanity begins its journey across the stars, not as conquerors, but as thinkers, protectors, and creators. The galaxy awaits your potential." The crew felt a profound sense of unity. They had passed Elira's tests, faced the unknown, and proven that humanity was capable of rising beyond fear and instinct. They had reached a new level, not because of technology alone, but because of their intelligence, courage, and moral strength. Days later, the crew prepared to leave XJ-94. Elira remained with them, integrated into the ship systems, offering guidance, knowledge, and insight. The humans knew that with her help, they could explore farther, think bigger, and act wiser than any generation before them. As the Aurora's edge lifted off from the alien world, Arik reflected on what they had learned. Humanity had always been explorers, fighters, and thinkers, but now they had touched something greater. They had proven that human ingenuity, compassion, and unity could rise to any challenge. And Elira, the gift from the unknown, watched over them, her luminous eyes reflecting the stars. She had offered humanity a choice, and they had chosen wisely. They were no longer just survivors. They were creators, protectors, and pioneers of a galaxy full of endless possibility. The ship disappeared into the cosmos, leaving XJ-94 behind, but carrying the spark of human potential into the vast unknown. "I was a gift, human. Why haven't you touched me yet?" she asked.